Hello and welcome into the Dreamsphere. I'm your storyteller, Emily Goodwin, and today we're going to travel way back in time to ancient Egypt. So dust off your flux capacitor, set the time to 1200 BCE, and let's get this shazazzle started. Now, I bet you've heard of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's depicted in books and movies such as The Mummy as this mysterious ancient book of knowledge and power, usually revolving around the idea of something that is evil or demonic, filled with curses and bad juju. But guess what? It wasn't really like that at all. And there wasn't just one of them. There were loads of these things flying around, at least for those that could afford it. I'll give you a short titty-bitty bit of information about the Book of the Dead, as it will make understanding the dream book of ancient Egypt a little easier in the long run. At the basic level, the ancient Egyptians believed in a fixed idea about the universe, Ma'at. In English, this word translates into the concepts such as truth, justice, and order. You may have heard of Ma'at, as this idea was then characterized into symbols, statues, paintings, and drawings of Ma'at, representing her as a goddess who they worshipped, performed rituals for, and offered sacrifices. The thought was that Ma'at was in a constant danger. The destructive forces of chaos, disorder, and anarchy fought to swallow the cosmos, and it was up to the Egyptian civilization, along with the gods and goddesses they worshipped, to maintain the balance between good and evil, order and chaos. On an individual level, this pretty much meant be a good human or the universe will fall apart. But how were they supposed to know how to be a good human? To ensure that A, that they continued to live out a healthy, happy existence, B, that they made it to the afterlife, and C, that the cosmos didn't turn evil, all hell breaking loose, throwing them into utter damnation. Well, that's where the Book of the Dead comes in. That's right, the Book of the Dead was actually a reader's manual for how to live your life in an orderly and truthful way, so that when you passed on, you would have the best chance of achieving the coveted life after death scenario. Depending on how much you could pay for each written passage, it gave step-by-step instructions on things such as how to treat others, how to treat yourself, how to act in public, and so on and so on. It had detailed descriptions of passwords, rituals, and other spells that you would use only once you had died to make your way to the Hall of Truth. In the Hall of Truth, you would then be judged by the gods Osiris, Thoth, Anubis, and 42 other judges. Imagine it, a huge hall with the gods and judges all around you. A scale stands in view. On one pan lies your heart, on the other the white feather of Ma'at. Will your heart be as pure and as light as Ma'at? 42 questions are asked of you, including things such as, do you honor virtue? Do you care for the earth? And are you giving? Are you kind? Are you respectable? If your heart is balanced with that of the feather of truth, you may pass on to the afterlife, achieving paradise. If your heart is heavy, it would be thrown onto the floor where the monster goddess Ammut would devour it, destroying the soul within, erasing it from existence. So yeah, no small potatoes about being a good person in the old Egyptian days, eh? Okay, but what does this all have to do with dreams? Keep your shirt on, I'll tell you. It is assumed that, like the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian dream book was a kind of manual as well. Except instead of giving instructions on how to live your life and what to do after you die, it gave hundreds of interpretations on what dreams could mean. The dream book went into great detail, describing dream scenarios that were categorized as either good or bad. It described protection spells, incantations, and daily rituals to perform if one was plagued by bad dreams, as well as giving instructions on how to praise the god or goddesses who awarded you with good dreams. I'll read you a few examples of dreams and their interpretations from a paper written by Luigi Prada, an Egyptologist from the University of Oxford. If a man sees himself in a dream fetching a jar of water, this is good. It means a life of abundance will be found in his house. If a man sees himself in a dream seeing the moon when it is risen, this is good. It means being clement or shown mercy from his God. If a man sees himself in a dream drinking beer, this is good. It means a surging of his emotions. A few of the negative ones are as follows. If a man sees himself in a dream placing incense on the flame for God, this is bad. It means that the power of God will be against him. If a man sees himself in a dream pressing wine, this is bad. All his possessions will be confiscated and taken from him. Those ones are more or less to do with regular day things that the ancient Egyptians did. And then there are a couple that are just, well, they're wild. And I gotta read them to you, so here we go. If a man sees himself with the face of a panther, this is good. It means acting as a chief or leader. If a man sees himself consuming the flesh of a crocodile, this is good. It means consuming the possessions of an official or someone who is of higher status. If a man sees himself in a dream looking upon tiger nuts or tiger testicles, this is good. It means a happy life will be found. And now here's some baddies. If a man sees himself in a dream having entered a room when his clothes are wet, this is bad. This means he will be in a fight. If a man sees himself in a dream bearing his own rear end, this is bad. It means the end he is going to be poor. If a man sees himself in a dream seeing a woman's genitalia, this is also bad, and it will be the ultimate misery upon him. I thought these particular ones were quite entertaining, and I hope you did as well. If you'd like to read more Egyptian dream interpretations, I'll add a link in the description for your explorative pleasure. Now, not everyone had one of these dream booklets, as it was, again, for those who could afford them. It was almost like a do-it-yourself booklet, as far as I can understand from my research, in the way that when you suffered a bad dream or a good dream, you would add to your dream book by visiting a temple that was home to either the sun god Ra or, in the later Egyptian period, the god Tutu. Tutu was the protector against demons, guardians of those who slept, keeping them from danger or bad dreams, and he also helped out now and again with a person's passage into the afterlife. He had the head of a man wearing the headdress of a king. He had the body of a lion, the tail of a cobra, and the wings of a bird, and it is shown in many depictions stomping on the arrows of Sekhmet, which were considered bringers of bad luck. I'd feel pretty safe at night knowing that Tut was watching over me, for sure. The priests at these temples, who were also known as keepers of the secret things, a badass title if I do say so myself, they would help you interpret the specifics of your dream. Write them in your little booklet along with whatever spell or protective message you needed at that specific time. They would enchant amulets, articles of clothing, write spells of protection on pieces of papyrus that a person could then put into a small jar to wear around their necks at all times. At night, the person plagued with bad dreams would recite the spells and pray to Tut in hopes that they would be protected through sleep. I'll read you an example of a protection spell of the ancient Egyptians from a paper written by Kowalski, an Egyptologist recently retired from Swansea University. We will make all dreams which she has seen good ones. We will make all dreams which she will see good ones. We will make all dreams which any man, any woman, any people of any kind in the entire land for her good ones. We will make all dreams which any man, any woman, any people of any kind in the entire land will see for her good ones. We will say good things about them. Whew. The ancient Egyptians were very particular about covering all their bases, making sure nothing could possibly slip through the cracks, and are not just worried about dreams that the dreamer could see and already has seen in the past, but are also concerned with anyone else who would possibly have a dream about her in a negative light. Dreams were thought of as an external phenomenon, a kind of halfway zone between reality and the world of the divine. The direction of their dreams was completely out of their control, which makes sense as to why they would be so afraid of, say, nightmares. The ancient Egyptians were very wary of bad dreams, nightmares, and even sleep paralysis, and believed that the gods and goddesses of chaos could invade their dreams as they slept, causing them anxiety, fear, and pain, possibly even a possession or two. Dreaming of the malevolent spirits of the deceased stilled fear in many people, as in their eyes the realm of dreams was a tangible connection where they could be harmed physically by the figures in their dreams. That gives a whole nother meaning to nightmares, eh? I would be terrified too to go to sleep every night in case I had a bad dream. On the flip side, this gave incredible weight to those who dreamt of gods and goddesses blessing them and bringing them tidings of good fortune. Some Egyptians even sought out to have more dreams in hopes of hearing messages from the gods, visiting temples for self-incubation periods. How did self-incubation periods work, and what the heck is that? If you were seeking guidance from the gods or goddesses, you would think of your question or query, choosing the temple that aligned with what you were asking about. For example, if a woman wanted to know why she couldn't get pregnant, she would visit the temple of Isis, the goddess of fertility, motherhood, magic, etc. She would then ask her question, and then essentially take a nap in one of the rooms of the temple, hoping for a dream that would provide an answer. Then, once she had awoken, she would visit the priest of that temple who would help her interpret it, and probably log it into her dream book, recording the rituals, spells, and other actions that were taken to discover the meaning of her dream. Sometimes the priests would conduct the incubations themselves on behalf of others. I read in a few places that they would make teas and oils were drunk and smeared on the body before sleep to encourage good intention and dream recall. They were recorded to dabble in oneiromancy, which is a form of divination based on dreams and dream interpretation specifically to predict the future. Oneiromancy was extremely popular in the ancient days and pops up not just in Egyptian history, but also all across the globe through Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and Native American cultures as well, as continuing through time and space, and it is still practiced to this very day. But that's a huge topic, and we'll have to wait until another episode. I hope you enjoyed this little exploration into the dreams of ancient Egyptians. There is still so much to uncover, and by no means does this episode outline everything. I mean, how could it? If you'd like to read more, I'll have a list of the sources I use in the description box for your personal viewing pleasure. Thank you for joining me today. I had such a great time learning and putting together this information to share with you. If you have any additional info about ancient Egyptian dreams, or if Egypt is floating around in your subconscious, I want to hear about it. My email is intothedreamsphere@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at intothedreamsphere. Every day I attempt to be better at social media, but it's honestly a lot of work, and I don't know how you kids do it these days. Oh my goodness, that makes me sound so ancient. Not as ancient as the Egyptians, though. Until next time, dream on, dreamers.